I wanted to give you an overview of cancer. I use this here really just to guide me so I don't get totally out there, but I will stray from it. But there's some important points that I want to bring up, because everybody that has come around to understand that diet is essential and critical to health has come across words acid and alkaline. And we use that word a lot, and what does it really mean, and in what way does it benefit us, you know. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about voltage. I think it's a really interesting concept, and I've just recently come to learn about it, and I think it answers, it's kind of the missing link of what we've been doing. So the problem is, as you all know, 1 out of 2 men will get cancer in their lifetime. And about 1 out of 2.7 women will get cancer in their lifetime. So it's reached such epidemic proportions that if you don't have it, you know someone that does have it. You know. I want to erase one myth, and that myth is that it's not hereditary. Very small percentages of medical conditions are hereditary. And the one, like, I'm Italian, so what runs in my family? Diabetes, strokes, heart attacks. But what really runs in my family is eating pasta and sausages. So if I don't do that, I'm not going to get diabetes. And because just as you don't walk down the street and catch health, neither do you walk down the street and catch disease. You earn it. You know, so we have to understand that. So you can earn either. So, important concept. When the body stops working, when you're having a problem, when a cell becomes defective, there are a few mechanisms that we have to repair the cell. But that's it. The body doesn't spend too much energy trying to repair. It gets rid of it through a process known as apoptosis, which is programmed cellular death. Gets rid of the cell and builds a new cell. So that's how the body regenerates, that's how the body heals, that's how the body renews. It does it through building new cells, not from trying to get old, worn-out cells to work. Okay? And so, for that reason, every 8 months we have a new body. We're always building new cells. So if you have cancer now, and you had cancer 8 months ago, it's because you're continuing to build it. If you had diabetes 8 months ago and now, you're building it. Every cell is built. As you know, skin is 6 weeks. We get a new liver about every 6 months. The lining of our colon is replaced every 3 days if we're healthy. You know, so in order to build new healthy cells, we have to have certain things. Oxygen, water with voltage, which is alkaline. There's a lot of water systems out there, and all they're really trying to do is put some minerals in it, because the minerals will alkalinize it, and we'll talk more about alkalinity. Fats, which are membranes. We need fats to make membranes. Every cell in our body has a membrane, and that membrane is the skin. But it's much more than that. If you were to view a cell, you'd see it as this little incredible sphere with hundreds of thousands of little antennae sticking out of it. And inside of it, you would see all kinds of incredible I guess I'm going to use a mechanical analogy, but like equipment. And really what you're looking at is a colloidal matrix inside the cell, and there's a colloidal matrix outside the cell. And the control of the cell is really the membrane. We used to think it was the DNA, and we now know that the DNA is just a place that receives information from the environment. And so the DNA that you were born with is not the DNA you have today, which is why you can have identical twins who come from the same exact sperm and egg, who you look at them at the age of 30 and they're really different. Their fingerprints are different. Okay, so DNA changes. changes according to environment. This is pretty, hopefully it's being taught in medical schools, but I doubt it. So you have the proteins inside the cell with the cytoplasm, which is the cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is just a word for the stuff inside cells. Vitamins, which allow the body to make fats and proteins. Minerals, to make fats and proteins work. They're also the on and off switches, and they also help keep your pH in check. Oxygen twice, because it's pretty important. Sunshine, and then voltage. Voltage is what the Chinese refer to as qi. There are no pharmaceuticals that can substitute for the essential products needed to build a good cell. They can buy time, though. Voltage. So anyway, voltage, really voltage means electrical potential. It doesn't really mean, the way you measure voltage is you measure the resistance of something. Okay, so voltage is resistance, but what we're talking about when we're talking about the energy that heals, the energy, and when we say heal, we mean create new healthy cells. That energy is current. It's electrical current. Okay? Every cell is designed to function at about 20 to 25 negative millivolts. Minus 20 to 25 millivolts. The average cell has got a voltage of minus 22 to 25 millivolts. If you get injured, you hit your finger with a hammer and it gets inflamed, you need to get up to minus 50 millivolts to heal it. Okay? If that inflammation turns into an infection that gets in your bone, and you have an osteomyelitis, you have a deep-rooted infection, you need to get up to 70, minus 70 millivolts to heal it. And if you don't, you won't heal it. We talked about damaging a cell. A cell can be damaged from trauma, a cell can be damaged from, and that trauma can be in the chemical form of toxins ingested. It doesn't have to be a hammer on the thumb. When we cross over from minus to positive, we reverse the polarity. And we start to get cancer, we damage DNA. But chronic disease is low voltage. In a minute, you're going to see why you already knew this. And then cancer, anywhere from minus 5 all the way to positive 40. You know, you go on the other side. And I'll explain briefly for a minute. When we're talking about minus and positive, the difference is that we're talking about electron donors versus electron stealers.